Greetings and salutations. I'm Ben. That's Terry. That's Tom. We're what? Canucks with these things. Guitars. Well, we're mostly Canucks. Honorary Canucks. CCHCWG apostrophe. Lots of S's. All the S's. All of them. Go all the way over there. And then turn the corner. Go some more.
And
welcome. If you're tuning in for the first time, please subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. You know I love you. You do, because you're back. If you're not back, I can't say it. How can I tell you I miss you unless you leave? No, don't do that. Don't. Letters equal words. Exactly, Joe Hervey. Welcome, Joe Hervey. Dan of New Jersey. We got Gary in the chat 4 days in a row. Perfect. Guitar Man 45. Dan of New Jersey again because he's that popular. We got to shout him out twice. Fruitcake Tony is here. Awesome. Okay. Special. Wednesday night. The guy who did the mixing on Balance. I forgot his name, but I remembered at least tonight I remembered he mixed an album that I remembered. Charles 75 N's here. Awesome. Terry's 3Gs, never heard of him. Martin Lemaire, tuning in from the Poutine province. Randy Crooks is not tuning in from the Poutine province. He's tuning in from one of the epic dirt states in the United States of America, which is more of a description than the name of a country, Tom. No offense. Just saying. We're not the United Provinces of America. We took a native word and just bastardized it to the point where it comes out as Canada. So... back to the roll call. Gear Junkie 35's here. Ryan Hall's here. He has all the questions when we're not on there. Draws a blank when we are. The big Haas himself, Simon Hosford, in the house. Good morning. LRM Guitars. More on him in a minute. That's right, Tom. I have news regarding LRM Guitars. Paul McNary's here. StreamYard. Perfect. That means I'm at the top. Then we go to the bottom to see last night's guest du jour, JP Page 2. BC Rich 581, another alum of the Sunday Night Hang. Leo Safko. Hobo Roadie. Janice is driving. Look out!
Yeah, look out!
Michael Krause. Cushman NYC. Some guy named Bent Tom. Never heard of him. Nope. All right. So before I forget, well, you could turn it up, Terry. I got mine cranked up to like 52.
No, that was the problem. I had them too high. I was wondering why I kept hearing hiss. And
you got buds in. So there we are.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I want to say right near the top of the hour, we got 33 in there. I love the number 33. Harry Gann. Zach Thong's here. Where was I going to go with that? Oh yes, patrons. I want to give them a shout out right at the top of the hour. And speaking of patrons, our newest patron is in the chat, Terry. We got a new patron today. Well, I got a new patron today. You can become a patron by reading that link or going to the website and typing in my name. Various tiers, levels, if you will, based off, I don't know, liquid availability of assets. Sure. So I'm going to shout out our newest patron first, LRM Guitars. Fellow Canuck, I believe, as well. Oh, nice. Mahogany, Randy Crooks, Other Left, Absolute Mayhem, Charles Green, Cousin Todd Flowers, Grumpy Mike Guitar, Blackjack Guitar, Ben Tom, Fruitcake Tony, JP Page 2, John ZD351, Charles 75N, unfucking believable, Knucklehead 0, Keith H, Joe C, Paul McNary, Symmetry, and Guitar Man 45. Or you could be like Doug Strong and become a channel member. He renewed his membership like yesterday. I know I got a notification like, hey, you got a channel member. I'm like, hey, he's renewing. That's awesome. I appreciate that. That's almost as cool as someone becoming a member because that means they tried it, they liked it, they decided to keep trying it.
Thanks, Charles.
They didn't let it lapse. So there we go. Thanks, folks. This is live Q&A. You got the Q's, we got the A's. Possibly A's turn into rants, so R's. All right. That's an excellent reason to miss the show, Chris. Popping in, still rehearsing tonight. Love to you. Love Chris. He's a great guy. Mr. Anderson 59. Howdy. Oh, you're calling a gent, but we'll try. We got a story tonight, Tom, involving YouTube and copyright.
Oh.
Yep. I might even tell that story. Just let a couple more people. I almost put it in because I didn't get the news until just before showtime, so I didn't get a chance to adjust titles and thumbnails. But copyright on YouTube. So yes.
I thought you were going to tell me that Elon Musk went and bought YouTube too.
I don't even think he has that kind of money. Like Google money? That would take a lot of money to buy Google at this point. I don't know. Like Google's big. Like big. Like when you figure stuff like Google as we know it or YouTube, then those are just branches of the hyper global megamech. Yeah.
Right. So. Well, they have the energy sector and they have all kinds of.
Thanks, Dan. He says, excellent show on amps yesterday. Well, really, I can thank Tom and JP Page too. I just grabbed questions out of the chat and threw them in their faces. Thanks, Tony. He says, Ben's channel member videos are top notch. I dig them. And plus, we do the, exclusive off-air hangs, which, are exclusive and off-air. What more can I say? We had a wonderful chat about Canadiana last time. For those, if you kind of felt left out on the call, Doug Strong and I, we had hell of a talk about growing up in Ontario, which Tom just loves those conversations anyways, because he's like, that's like us. That's like us. That's not like us. Bagged milk. What? Doug Strong says the off-air hangs are worth the price of admission alone. That's true. And, I don't say I use it as a recruiting tool, but, folks like BC Rich 581 and JP Page 2, that's the first time I got to see their mugs. And then it gave them a feeling of doing one of these hangs without the pressure of being in front of an audience. And then, look what this is. I'm like, it's the same thing, except it's our friends that are text messages in the chat. I'm like, exactly. What's up, Dale Boyle Music? Nice. You gotta love it when the NDE is you're always on, Chris. What's up, Paul? Shut the back door after you snuck in? Oh, you used the stage entrance, as usual. Joe's starting an OnlyFans.
Oh, dear Lord.
What's up, Billy? Billy Baloney's one of the regulars on the Zoom hangs. We use the Zoom because you can get like 100 people on that, and I don't have 100 people to come on. But it's fun. There's usually anywhere from 10 to 20 of us. What's up, Boomer? I'm allowed to call him that. It's okay, Boomer. You mean there's more? Yep. Ben is our leader. It's like a Zoom cult. We have sets of matching tracksuits we wear. Yep.
Oh, God.
In Argyle. What's up, Eric? What's up, Dan Crow? Thoughts on headless guitars? Never played one, but curious. Well, you don't have neck dive, generally.
Yeah, if you got a headless guitar and it's got neck dive, you seriously got
well, I'm starting to think those Steinbergers, Terry, because they're so little on this end that they could still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that aspect, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But.
You know what? Weird. Optically. Hey, Joe. It's a new name in the chat. New Joe in the chat. Welcome, Joe. I don't know. I think I'd be reaching up there too many times to go to retune. Not my thing, really. They're generally not set up more of a traditional way. They're very flat radius. They have extra frets down at the end that I don't see the point of. They're there and they're all smunched in together. No. And there's sometimes extra strings involved and active pickups and stuff. So it's a little much.
LRM guitarist says no place to hold your cigarette.
Well, that's the other thing too. Yeah. Where are you supposed to put your dart? Tom, your thoughts on headless guitars? Do you own one? I don't think you own one, do you?
I do not, no.
I didn't think so.
I think I've only played one once.
And you pay more for less.
Yeah.
Generally, headless guitars are more money, yet you don't get a headstock.
Yeah, that
Barry?
is the big thing about it. Never played one, never had any real desire to play one, but I agree that's the biggest drawback. Like, if they were cheap, I'm sure there'd be a lot more people that would probably be more interested in it. But again, like you said, the hardware has to be such a specialized hardware to, like, hold the strings at this end and then do the tuning down here, so it turns a bridge instead of
Yeah, it's
being
usually you
like
got to use more times than not. You're using those double ball end strings, which apparently extra balls cost an entire pack of strings. Which I don't know if you took one of those ball ends and mashed it and strung it out. There's probably a light gauge string's worth of material in one of those balls. So I guess I no. I was kind of partial to the Steinbergers that basically was a Strat body. Yeah, like Jimmy Page played one in what was that band with Paul Rogers? The Firm? The Firm.
Yeah.
That's when then they went on tour and it was a train wreck because Jimmy thought he could still party like he was in Zeppelin, but they're like, "You're diabetic now, Jimmy. You can't be doing that shit." "Oh, I can do it, mate." No, it lasted 3 weeks. Let's see. Simon says, "Joe is my master guitar tech and Luthier here in Melbourne." Awesome. This is his first time checking out the show. I was telling you about it this morning. Awesome. Well, welcome,
awesome.
Joe.
Very cool.
Hey, Cushman.
Boomer says I'd buy a cigar box guitar before a Headless. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost pretty much the same thing, really, the way some
I would no, because cigar box is its own deal with 3 to 4 strings and radioactive. Exactly, Keith H. Radioactive. Strat is the best design ever. LRM Guitar says. I don't know. I'd have to think on that.
I'm just reading Doug Strong's comment here at 811, and he says, "I feel like it's like people who are really into offsets. They aren't for everyone, but those who seem to really like them want to see my J Mascus."
Okay. Can you turn up a bit?
Yeah, actually, I turned it down a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, because you were probably blasting your own ears because you had the old output, just all the decibels.
Well, you know how it is. Go on one stream, you're too loud. Go on another stream, you're too soft. Like,
exactly. Fruitcake asks, "Have I ever owned a Headless?" No, I have not. If I was to own one, it would be a Steinberger, like with the trans trim, because I want the trans trim more than I want the lack of headstock. But yeah, regarding offsets, I don't know. It's not like they're so vastly different to play. It's just, I don't think, like, unless you're buying a Jim Root signature offset, you're not getting a very flat radius fretboard. So they don't really, they're not built to shred on that, per se.
Kind of makes me think of a Telly.
Well, they're built for jangle. You buy an offset for jangliness. Same reason you buy a Rickenbacker. You're not buying a Ricky to chug. You're buying a Ricky to jangle. So although, like that offset I picked up from my sister, that little Affinity that had the humbuckers in it. That was a little rock and roll machine. That'd be the same as like a humbucker Telly or an HSS Affinity Strat, has a 9.5-inch radius, modern fender. What's up, Keith? And it was a rock and roll machine. But I don't know. It just depends. Like you got those big ass, I don't know, what are those things? Doorstop soap bar, not a P90. It's the largest single coil you've ever seen in your life, but it's not a P90. Well, they got a sound. And they got Scott Brockway signature 1 meg pots in them for a sound. Hi, Scott. Perfect timing. Pete Townsend could rock out on a Rick. That's true. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, Eddie.
Scott says I could chug on anything except a Harmony. I don't know. A D'Angelico? Because it would rock about or chug about as hard as a Harmony. Then there's Ibanez. Like, no middle of the road there. We got the shred machines. We got the jazz boxes. That's. Do you make a Telly? No. Do you make a Les Paul? Sort of, but it's on our cheaper end. It's part of the Art Core series. Oh, what's up, T. Ricky? Got 51 people watching. If you haven't, please give me a thumbs up because it helps algorithms and promotions and stuff. Same as if we spam the chat. I don't know. Everybody say where they're from. How about we do that? Because I know if the chat starts flying, YouTube's like, hey, these fellas and fellettes, because Janice, she is bucking the algorithm or the demographic. Thank you, Janice, for tuning in while driving. Look out. Yeah, let's spam the chat, see if it helps out. Maybe we'll get some more new folks in. Always like, hey, there's Sandra. Thank you. You're furthering.
There we
Hey,
go.
Sandra, what's up?
The demographic is now up 2.
Yes. Santa Fe, New Mexico from Dan Crow. Awesome. Keith's from his mama.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
T. Ricky's still in South Dakota. I did not know T. Ricky was in South Dakota.
And welcome home,
Janice is home.
Janice.
Janice is home. Perfect.
Welcome home, Janice.
Unbelievables from elsewhere. Sunny Chicagoland. East Texas. Hey, Ferd. New name. Tony N. New name. Awesome.
East Texas.
Rockport,
cool.
New York.
Very
Boston,
cool.
Mass. Originally Gas, Quebec. Now Montreal.
Oh,
Very
nice.
cool.
I thought Dale was in Quebec. Oshawa, but reside in Trenton. Reside in Trenton, right, Zach? Yes, I love it. Stevie G. Hey, buddy. Southern Illinois.
Someone from the sausage.
It's interesting, Terry. Illinois. There's always been a following from Illinois. There's the Chicago crowd, because there's always been 3 or 4 Chicago Indians, and then there's the Southern Illinois crowd, which is not the same. Not the same. And I can say that based off thumbnail. I stopped for gas in Northern Illinois. I stopped for gas in Southern Illinois. My experiences were similar, yet different.
Oh, someone from Cowtown.
Nice.
Calgary.
Nice. Haas says, I just had Joe put in a set of bare knuckle trilogy suite single coil pickups, which according to Tim Mills himself sound kind of like P90s. They sound amazing in my Malmsteen Strat. Nice. So a little thicker tone, I would
Very
imagine.
cool. Hey, Sandra.
Yeah. Hey, Sandra. Okay.
See, now we have Illinois residents mentioning the fact that, yep, there's a difference. You weren't just seeing things. That's what I'm just saying. So awesome. Thank you, folks. Although we lost a few people watching in the moment. Like, the chat's moving too quick. I'm out. All 3 of them. Maybe they just had to go pee. I don't know. Maybe they had to take a call and they were watching on their mobile device. I don't know.
Oh, poor Doug.
I live in Hamilton and my boss just decided that the new building I have to go to and manage is in Brampton. Oh, because I apparently made good decisions in my life. So if you wonder, no, Tom, I know, again, it's like your little hobby, Ontario, a portrait. And you get these, and Tom already knows the Hammer doesn't have the best reputation because he knows it's kind of, it's Ontario's Pittsburgh. So insert jokes here.
Yeah.
Because they were. But when you're resided to go, fuck, I got to go to Brampton. You know how quality a town Brampton is, Tom?
No, I'd like you to tell me, though.
It's kind of on the other side of Mississauga. Mississauga is known for having the airport outside of Toronto. So, yeah, Brampton. I don't know. I just remember a lot of housing projects for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird. Brampton, eh? Good for you. Didn't they have an OHL team for a while, Terry?
Yes.
The Brampton Battalion.
They still do have the Brampton Battalion playing there, yes.
Which is formerly the Niagara Ice Dogs, moved back after Brampton left or something.
Correct.
To that effect. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's fine. That's fine. I don't think I've ever actually stopped in Brampton by choice. So north of Mississauga. Thanks, LRM. See, I'm not sure where LRM is, but we know he's a Canuck because he's north of Mississauga. Is there anything north of Mississauga? Like, that's the thing. Like, again, Mississauga, it's warehouses in the airport. and Metalworks Studios. So
Isn't that like if you come up? Yeah, Vaughan is when you're coming up more towards my way. I think
yeah, Vaughan is like east of Brampton.
Yeah, Newmarket, Barrie.
Yes, BC Rich, like in the Subdivisions video. Exactly. Like in the Subdivisions video. Come to think of it, yes. Okay, so LRM's in Mississauga. So Mississauga has warehouses, Tom. Okay, because the airport. You see a lot of corporate logos on warehouses, so whether they're corporate headquarters or, just everybody has something there. And then you have the airport. And you got Metalworks Studios. Oh, you're a mile from Metalworks. That's fine.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, then there's Bramalea, just kind of stuck in there, too. Yeah, now we're getting to GTA talk. Greater Toronto Area. There you go.
And if you want computer parts, you live in Markham.
Yeah,
because all the Asian computer parts suppliers
I have a story
there.
about Markham, Terry.
They have them all stored there, yeah.
And to tell it, I would have to tread lightly. Okay, but I will do my best. And since Stevie is still celebrating 420, I'll celebrate. You seem to be in the Southeast, Tony. You seem to be you're representing the Southeast pretty much single-handedly by the looks of things. So we went. So I don't know what year it was, Tom. It was the year of the weddings. I know that.
Okay.
It was the year I bought that suit I was telling you about, Terry. I had to buy a suit, Tom, because we realized we were going to 10 weddings in 1 year. So, the suit kind of pays for itself, right? I'm not surprised, Doug. So we go to this wedding. I don't remember whose fucking wedding it was. Doesn't matter. One of her friends. It's always her friends getting married in the city, which cost me hotel rooms and gas, whatever, right? So we were at one of these. Their whole job in life is a building that hosts weddings and receptions. So It's like a banquet hall, but there's like 4 banquet halls with a huge fucking parking lot. It's converted Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know.
All confusing and shit. Yeah.
We're still doing the Island Purple, Billy Baloney. Island Purple. And yes, for you Americans, I'll just rub it in. That's the price for an ounce. Yep.
And that's Canadian.
So
$30 Canadian an ounce.
So there we are.
That would be probably like close to 25 US.
That's I'm
gonna Philly G, I can say a noise, I guess, a noise.
I mean, it would literally be 10 to 20.
Yeah, there's a lot of sprawl.
That price.
It's getting to the point. It's still not as bad as LA, but it's very similar.
10 weddings equals 8 to. Yeah, that's true. Actually,
you know what? You might be close on that LRM. I bet you if I did the math out of the 10 that we attended that year. So I bought a suit because 10 weddings. But anyway, so we're up at this wedding. And it was far enough along. It was old enough that the girlfriend had a camera that took batteries. Now, it might have been digital camera, may not have been. So we're right in that transition. Like, nobody's taking photos with phones yet, right? So I remember that, Terry. And we're like right off Markham Road. Like, we're in downtown Markham. Like, we're Markham, right up Markham, which is northeast portion of Toronto, Tom, you think of Toronto, it's much like New York City where you have boroughs, but they're just towns that have all merged together, sort of like LA, right? You get it.
Yeah.
And so the girlfriend's like, hey, I don't have any batteries. And they're like, hey, we're starting the speeches. I'm like, fuck, I could dip out of here. I still smoked at times. So I'm like, I'll smoke a dart and, I'll go out and find some batteries for the old lady and be a hero. That's my thought, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Help later in the evening back at the hotel suite, perhaps. Never hurts to, be in someone's good graces after they've been partaking and seeing women get married and stuff. Anybody that's been to a wedding knows. So, I'm like, hey, there's like a plaza / mini mall thing across the road. So I go across the 6 lanes of traffic, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. Have we mentioned there's a large Asian population? And when I say large, Tom, there's Asian, there's South Asian, there's East Asian, West Asian. I don't know. They're all there. And I'm not complaining. Whatever. I get it. You know, that's one of the great things when you end up with little Italy's and little Portugals and little thises and little that's. Probably some of the best restaurants around right there. The problem was, Tom, to use a business term, they'd saturated the market to the point where I walked into this little mini mall area.
Mm-hmm.
None of the signs are in English.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Canada is a bilingual country. None of the signs were in French either.
Nope.
Okay,
I know, yeah.
You know, and I'm just looking for a Max Milk or a Becker's or a 7-Eleven or a Circle K. You know, trying to expand it outside of Ontario.
Wawa.
Becker's. They're like, what the fuck's a Becker's? And then the Canadians go, oh, Becker's. Hey, robot. So I look around. You know, Tom, I've had a couple of pops into me because I think we took a cab to the reception. So I probably had a couple of pops in me. And so I walked up to a gentleman about my age, maybe a year older. I'm in my 20s. Let's say mid-20s, late 20s, maybe even early 30s. And I said, excuse me. He goes, yeah. I'm like, I don't mean to sound racist, but I'm looking for a convenience store to buy some batteries, and I can't read any of these signs. He goes, I shit you not, Tom. He turns to me, he goes, dude, I'm fucking Korean and as lost as you are.
That's awesome. That's good.
We had a chuckle over that. Walk back out to the main road. I see the bastion of Caucasianness, Terry, at Tim Hortons. I'm like, ha-ha! I'll get directions out of Tim Hortons. I'm pretty sure the only English spoken in that place was double. And I went, okay, fine. So I'll just start walking down the road. Gotta hit something.
Reminds me of that episode.
I ended up walking almost a full mile, Terry, including through a construction site, which I thought was a shortcut. Did I mention I was at a wedding reception and I'm wearing a suit? Oh, yeah. So he finally finds the convenience store. Get the batteries. Hoof her back, Tom. Now I'm gone. An hour and a half almost, probably at this point.
Right.
And I get back. And, you know, I'm looking a little disheveled, a little sweaty, you know, because I've been walking and I'm not a walker, you know, and I'm like, okay, you know. And rather than being, oh, honey, this is awesome, you found batteries, I get, you missed all the fucking speeches. Woo, by who? People I don't know? These are your fucking friends that are getting married.
Yeah.
You can't win, Tom. You can't win. No. She may have made up for it later, but we won't get into that because this is a PG show. Yeah. When I called, so I'm like, what? You know, I was like, and then I told the story, and then, I'm like, yeah, what's up, Milt? So, well, of course, always want to get laid, Ella. I did. Yeah, I missed the speeches. What the hell? I don't think it was an open bar. I probably would have been gone for an hour and a half if it was open bar. But
So I was going to say you probably were hoping and wishing that it was an open
shoes were muddy, I remember. And fortunately, I was lucky. I waited a good hour or so, and because there was a bit of, you know, half inch or so of mud around the old pant legs. But you just let that dry, and she crusted right off for the most part. So she was barely noticeable. And then everybody's like, you know, all the guys that were with all the girls, because there's a group of like a dozen of us hanging out, and they're like, hey, where were you? And I told them the story, like, oh, you're a trooper. I'm like, fuck yes, promote that.
I think the funny part nowadays...
Probably not an open bar, Doug, because the cost of that flipping venue was ridiculous. Like, it was fancy and schmancy. I did not feel comfortable in that place.
Yeah, just to kind of like tap on the whole thing, like what we're saying about like how Toronto and the greater Toronto area is. It's so multicultural now to the point where you actually have people of other nationality actually running and owning restaurants of a total different non-white nationality.
Yeah, and like, you know, again, like I don't know what I assume Mandarin, Chinese. I assume let's just go based off numbers. There's a billion of them and not a billion of everybody else. So, and generally I can tell a Chinese person apart from a Korean person, but I was just like, hey, there's a random person, like the only person around.
According to the Googles, it says that about 14% of homes in Toronto are owned by someone who's Chinese.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
and
I guess
Vancouver, it's 33%.
Yeah, Vancouver, it's...
So
33% are either owned by a Chinese person who is now, a Chinese Canadian, if you will, or a Chinese national who just, travels back and forth. 33%.
So now that Unbelievable has said Canucks with wedding stories, yes. Should we do Canucks with copyright issues now?
Yes,
sure.
100%.
Well, we got 62 people watching.
That's is
Charles 75N still in here? Here's Charles. Can you please raise your hand if you're still in here?
What did Charles do?
Charles pointed it out last week. We had an issue during last week's show. And Charles had pointed out, so I wanted to make sure he's here so he gets credit where credit is due.
Yeah, he said something a bit... No, there he is. He is present.
Excellent. So, Charles, you may recall, Terry Murray, he sent out a PayPal donation last week, which is rare. What did you miss? Oh, you missed a hell of a wedding story, Brad. Sorry. Canucks with batteries. And or actually Canucks without batteries and then getting batteries. So anyways, Charles pointed out in the PayPal, he said, hey, Tom, the super chat's not working. What's up? You remember that, Terry?
Oh,
I
yes.
do remember him saying
people
that,
mentioned the super chat wasn't working, and I'm like, what's the deuces, right? Well, I found out after the show that the show had been demonetized with a copyright claim. I'm like, copyright claim for what?
Yeah, good.
I'm like, I don't play music. Like, what am I getting copy written up for? So, hey, Christopher. So it was apparently for the opening credits theme song, which I've been using for over a year.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? Like, as far as I know, when these videos were given to me, my understanding was it was free use, publicly used, music. You're okay. And so, we've been using the videos for a year, and apparently, boom. They're like, yeah, this company claims it. I'm like, fuck you. I'm protesting. Come from a racing background. I know how to make a protest. I protested them. And they went, nope. YouTube's like, fuck you. Like an hour later. They're like, nope, denied, demonetized. Not even sharing, Tom. Ineligible. It says ineligible. Grayed out. So, which is basically, you have the choice of muting that portion of the show, substituting music. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I can't even do a fucking voiceover in a video. I don't know how to substitute music. So I'm like, what the deuce, right? So and generally it'll say a band, but it didn't say a band. It just had a company name. And they also didn't reference, hey, you're playing Living After Midnight, type thing. It's just this company. It's like, hey, you're playing our crap. I'm like, who the fuck are you? So, there's cursing, because this is a good story. What's up, Brother Aaron? I'm talking about copyright issues.
What's going on, Aaron?
So,
hey, Aaron.
Well, apparently that's pretty much killed. All right. Anywho's.
Demonetized.
Yeah, demonetized. So, I took the name of the company, and I put it into the old Google, Tom. And they're like, hey, we're a company that helps you get promoted and takes care of your copyright claim, like kind of tied in with that. So I'm like, all right, like they're like, we're coming to make sure you don't get ripped off. I'm like, no, that sounds kind of douchey, like, I don't know. So contact us. I'm like, all right, I'll contact. I'm like, hey, I'm me and you're you. What's the deuce? Why are you taking down my music? And I didn't link a video or anything. I just said, I'm me and this is what I do and what the deuce,
Mm-hmm.
So I got a back and form letter. This is on Tuesday, the day of twos. And after I filed that, Tom, bing, another copyright claim on a second video, my 3,000 subscriber hangout video. I think it was like just a couple months ago. Because I used the same opening theme. I have the two different ones that I would play, and I think it's the acoustic one, which I've deleted now because I didn't want any hassle, right?
Mm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So because I put in it, because I contact you, all of a sudden now you're going after more of my stuff? So never, they're like, oh, we'll look into it. That was what the form letter. So we'll look into it and get back to you. I'm like, all right. So I waited a couple of days, haven't heard anything. And just for a lark, I replied to the auto reply. And I just say, hey, dipsticks, now you're going after multiple things because I contacted you once. Now you're going after other videos. Like, what's up? Didn't hear anything back. So then I hear from them this morning something like, hey, what video did we claim? So I didn't write anything, Tom. All I did was send them back a link to last Monday's show. Hey, Ron. And I said,
hey, Ron.
Yep. About a half an hour before showtime tonight, just I sent you guys the link. Check my email. All of a sudden, hey, sorry, our bad. It sounds a lot like something of ours. I'm like, all right. Well, I guess I should reply to you. I'm like, I'll reply to you after the show and grab you a link to the other show and let them know. But before I did that, then all of a sudden I'm getting the notification. YouTube's like, hey, you've been released for copyright on Canucks show last week. Hey, you've been released on the other show too. I'm like, oh, so they actually retracted all their claims against me.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
an actual positive story of copyright claim.
I fought them. YouTube did not stand up for me. I contacted them directly, and they took care of it. So kudos to that company, in a sense. I'm not going to name them because I haven't sorted them out yet, but apparently they're going after, like, if you're a guitar picker out there and you got your music out there and you go, hey, that's my tune over there, like, we'll sick our lawyers on them. Don't you worry about that. Don't just use algorithms to find people's music. You got to search it out yourself.
Billy Baloney's comments hilarious. Beto is jealous of you.
Yeah, but like that, YouTube didn't do squat. They're like, no, it's them. I was like, yeah, but you don't have, like, where's the proof? Where is the transparency there, Tom? Like, if I'm playing a song and you go, hey, that's my song, prove it, Tom. That's all I ask. And you go, dude, right here, Tom, live in Japan, 1983. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, yeah, you're right. That sounds like you, And it might be that I wrote something, but it sounds like, I'm like, you know what, Tom? You're right. But if you're like, no, because they said so. Because they said so doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
If some butts and candies and nuts. Contacting YouTube on Twitter doesn't do much either. I would, Janice, but I'm not set up to fully record a song. That's the problem. I would love to. It's on my list of things to record. I've got 3 songs to record. 4 songs? 3, 4 ideas, partials, if you will. So
LRM guitarists claim
their song is yours. Yeah, but that was the thing. It was just some company. Like, it was just like Atlas Publishing. Okay. It sounds like a company that would be taking care of catalogs, but whose catalogs? Like, who are you claiming on behalf of? It's just like Sony going, hey, that's our song. Well, granted, Sony, you own the rights to like half the music ever created, but which half?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking is some transparency to tell you. Like when Judas Priest claimed, like when I play Living After Midnight, they're like, "Hey, that's ours." I'm like, "Fuck, you're right," you know, because they break down because they always say it's between this time and this time, and you'll listen to it. I'm like, "Yep, I guess I was playing a good enough version of it that you went, hey, don't." So,
in response to what Joe Harvey says here, or Hervey, he says, "I know people got their issues handled. They are 100K channels. That's the inherent problem."
that's because they're a bigger channel, which generates
If you're
a lot of bad
if you're
revenue.
like 100K plus channel, you will get heard and dealt with from YouTube.
You have a 100K channel. You have your own dedicated person at YouTube that deals with you, like your own Sweetwater rep, except it's your own YouTube rep.
Yep.
And I will say, I didn't contact YouTube directly, like outside. Like they have the YouTube chat, creator support chat, I think it's called, Terry, in the YouTube studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, when I've had questions, I'll just fire that up sometimes because let's be honest, their database isn't the most easily searchable. I think a computer based company would have better stuff for that. But anyways, when I've used the chat, they've been pretty good on that stuff. Like when it came to like taxation last year, all of a sudden I'm getting taxed at a fairly high tax rate. And I'm like, I don't know why. I've been doing this job for years and you didn't previously. Although I got a tax thing from PayPal, which was a lot easier, Tom. They're like, hey, because this whole $600 thing, PayPal, I logged into it and I was going to send some money to my bank account. And they're like, hey, you got to pay taxes because you made more than $600 on here. I'm like, I didn't make a cent on here. I had money transfer in and money transfer out. At no time did I issue an invoice. And that's the only way you can say I got income.
Yeah.
And then all it is there's a box. You American? Yes or no? No. All right. Is this your name, address? Yes. Okay, thanks. Google on the other hand, they're like, no, we'll tax you, but then we'll give you your money back after a year. Why don't you just say, no, I'm not
after we
American.
already take 30
I'm
or
not,
40%.
I'm not a foreign national working in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Move along. Because that's what it was previous to 2021. Oh, rants tonight. Anything guitar related?
Should we discuss the...
Any guitar questions, folks? No. I saw somebody release a signature guitar today, but I don't really care for him, so I wasn't going to mention it. I like the guitar brand. I don't really care for him.
You're talking about the bass?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention, Ron Bain. Digitech and DOD
Court.
being acquired by Court.
Oh, right. Oh, I should talk about that since this is the year of the Dodd. Well, apparently this is the year of the Dodd being sold to Court. That's tomorrow night, Keith. Oh, we got all kinds of coverage on that. Tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., Keith, NAS Canucks. So, yes. Oh, there it is.
Dale.
I referenced it last night. I messaged Richie about it. I said, hey, yeah, they were sold to Court. And he's like, well, Court owns everything. I'm like, not Korga. Court.
Yeah.
He went, oh, snap. I don't know. Like, does Court have a manufacturing capability for pedals? Because if so, it makes sense. But because Court, yes, you can buy a Court branded guitar, but Court are more known, at least within the industry, as ghost building for everybody else, like world music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig.
What's up, Craig T. Tomlinson?
And that's why I said when I heard that it was Court, I was like, it makes perfect sense because they're a ghost builder.
Yeah.
If they now can add an element of, say, X company, oh, we'd like to have a distortion pedal. Well, what do you know? We own Digitech and DOD.
Which means then you would have the circuit designs, but as I'm saying, do they manufacture pedals at all? I don't think they're set. I think they're just strictly guitar builders, as far as I know.
No, they don't. But I mean, it wouldn't take that long probably to get a facility up and going or buy a used facility.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it entails. Because you're building circuit boards. Like, that's not just building shovels. Where you can buy the tooling to build shovels.
But
Yeah,
what
you
did
buy
they
a metal stamp,
buy?
stamp up the shovel, and then the wood lathe to make handles.
Did they only buy the intellectual property, or did they buy all of their manufacturing and everything?
Unbelievable says Cork bought all the designs. They'll farm it out. Yeah.
There you go.
Now they'll probably
that makes
just
sense.
they'll just farm it out to say China, Korea.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't hear
Yeah, and that's
Korean
what I
made
was going to
pedals.
say too.
So I guess they'll be made in China, maybe Japan. You cool to have made in Japan. What's made in Japan anymore? Can you get pedals out of Japan?
The new brand Joyort.
Jort.
Jort.
You go so jorts? No, you don't. Just no.
Hey, dude! I just got the new Jort 250.
Ryan Hall says, "How about the Ben Coombs signature guitar? Already got one. It's right there.
I got a new pair of Jordans.
Oh yeah, she's perfectly in tune. There she be.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see that new version.
With the dirtiest fretboard. Which apparently I don't use that. I don't fret there, but I fret pretty much everywhere else. Which one's that one? Why do you never come into play?
It's the 8th fret.
I don't play in the key of C, Terry. Apparently, I don't play in the key of C. Waza made in Japan. Thank you, LRM Guitars.
The only ones I can think of.
That's why I asked. I just couldn't think off the top of my head.
The Shins music pedals, but they're kind of a small custom jobber.
Right.
8th fret is for nerds. 8th fret is for jazzers.
Hit up Travis. See what the Travis ETA is for Travis relocating to Ontario. Oh, apparently the rack there is burning the finish off this guitar. No, or is that the rack finishing on the guitar? What's happening? There's definitely a mark though. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I had that happen with the refinished Ibanez. I had it sitting on this stand here. I went to pick it up. I'm like, wait a second. Why is the stand lifting up? And I'm like, oh, crap.
I don't know. It's really easy to scratch. It's okay. It's leaving a finish on the guitar. Phil McKnight had the same problem. So apparently non-clear coated, because it's the only one that doesn't have a clear coat.
Huh.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Since I'm here, I'm just going to check the old Nitro guitar to see how it's faring.
Yeah. And while you do that, Dale Boyle Music has asked
He's
the three of
fine.
us.
Weird, eh, Tom? You would think this should be the one that has the worst interaction.
That should be the one that you would worry about, yeah.
But then again, I bet you if it was a new Nitro guitar, there would be a mark. But that stopped gassing off 20 years ago, probably, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just brittle. It's like eggshell.
Yeah.
Dale Boyle Music, again, asks, have you...
No finish on the board, LRM Cyrus. That's correct, yes. That's a raw maple neck, like Eddie Van Halen.
It's all the resin from the glass sacks.
Has your preference in string gauge changed over the years? I've been using lighter and lighter gauges, it seems. I went from 1152s to 940s. Maybe I'm getting old.
All right. Yes and no. By today's standards, I've gone lighter. I now play what's considered a light gauge string. However, Tom, when I started playing, I played medium gauge strings. However, I'm playing the same strings. What? Terry? When I started playing in 1989, stores carried 3 gauges, 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Yep.
9s were considered medium gauge.
Medium, yeah.
Or it was extra light, light, and medium.
Mm.
There was no heavy. You couldn't find the heavies. And if there's only extra light, light, and mediums, it doesn't matter. Extra lights are then mediums by definition if they're in the middle of the road. Now, with everyone playing their 11s, it seems like 11 through 40, let's say 48 through 50, 11s seem to be mediums these days, or at least 10s are considered mediums. So
Yeah.
but I let the guitar decide, or I should say, I let the guitar and tuning decide.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I played 11. I got into 11s because Richie played 11s, and 11s on a telly is a thing. It's such a thing. It's a little hard on the hands. Oh, I got enough tellies. I should do a telly with 11s for the hell of it. Mazel. Yeah. I don't know.
I still laugh anytime somebody says I play 12 throughs. I'm like, are you playing an electric guitar or an acoustic? Because the average lowest gauge string on acoustics for the longest time started at 12.
Yeah. Yeah, for the longest time. Actually, I remember even then. Like 11s was the medium of the road. Like you get 10s for acoustic. Now, good luck finding a set of 10s for an acoustic. That's not for a parlor guitar or a kid's guitar. For as long as I loved it because they used the Ernie Ball 11s, the purple packs. They used the same ones on acoustics and electrics because they used to say on them acoustic and electric strings. And then they took that off for some reason, and I don't know why. I thought that was the best thing. Hey, Tom, I don't have to buy separate strings for my acoustic. I just use the same fucking strings.
That is convenient, yeah.
What's up, Max?
Hey, Max. Yeah, I think the earth-wound Ernie Ball strings that I got downstairs are 1032s for acoustic.
They don't make them anymore, Ryan. They go for a lot of money used because they're like a collector's item now. But I don't know why people would want to buy them if they've been sitting around for 20 years.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? They're not going to be good at this point. But yeah, I think that was a 9 to 40 gauge.
Actually, Terry, I think I got Earthwound 11 through 48 on the Martin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were like Earthwound extra light. I'm like, they're 11s. They're like, that is an extra light acoustic string. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm like, why y'all playing? Why? Why is everybody playing so hard? Like, you don't need to. You wonder why all your acoustics are folding in half after 10 years.
Yeah.
Get the 13s off of it. Put a set of 10s on it.
Yeah, because I think that's what it used to be. I think it used to be 12, 13, and I think maybe a 14? Maybe?
No, I would see usually 10s through 12s, sometimes 13s. And
nowadays,
they've got medium, and now it's like good luck finding 11s even.
You know, recently Ernie Ball has brought out more hybrid string combinations. They brought out, I think, 4 more to the electric range, and they've actually now added 4 more to the acoustic range.
Good. I'd like it where you can pick and choose your damn strings. Why can't you do that at no additional cost?
The only thing you can do that with is maybe like String Joy or something like that in their own brand.
Maybe. Then again, I don't buy my own strings. I use whatever Brad sends me. I think I'm down to just 9s at this point, Brad. I think it needs more 10s soon. Play more 10s on guitars. Because I'm playing more guitars that require 10s. Actually, I want to try the new electric XS strings that D'Addario just put out. I want to try those because I really like the original XTs. Before they got rid of those right away. Because remember, all of a sudden, then you could only get XTs for acoustics and not electrics. I'm not saying there was a bit of an environmental issue, Tom, but when I was like, because when I did the original review, I was like, these things are like dipped in WD-40. Like there's some kind of petroleum on them that's like some kind of space-age polymer, like something that's not natural is going on here. And I'm thinking this can't be, like you can't do this, environmentally. Sure enough, I'm not saying I may have talked to somebody or anything, but anyways, yes, mumbling away. Realize there are certain things I can't say publicly. But yes, I'd like to try the new XS strings. As long as they don't have the old string dandruff.
Well, I was going to say...
I like bullets on my Strat too. That's actually, I just took the bullets off my Strat that were on it for like 2 years because you can't find bullets anymore. Yeah,
that's what I used for
I'm a firm believer. they always say Leo made that. The bullets are made for that to fit up in there, and yep, I drink the Kool-Aid on that one. That guitar was more stable, stayed in tune.
Yeah, there you go. Dale Boy Music says, yeah, Mighty Slinky is an 8.5 through 40, and Hyper Slinky is an 8 through 42.
Gotcha. Scott says he doesn't like Ernie balls. They die too fast for him. I find D'Adarios are that way for me. Ernie balls last the longest for me. Drop C or C standard? Well, it's two different things. If you're in C standard and want to play a drop tuning, then now you're playing in drop A sharp. As opposed to drop C is basically D standard with drop tuning. Okay, so C standard or what? Or okay, Doug says C standard. No. I've played in drop C. It depends. Again, like, are you playing in a drop tuning or a standard tuning? It's very different playing styles.
I don't think I've ever played in C. I've played in B standard when I had the 7-string.
Yeah.
That's about the closest I've gotten. Otherwise,
Mike himself says that he has elixirs on all of his guitars. How about 40 electrics? Never had a problem. I find as soon as you start strumming in that area, you get all the dandruff happening because my picks just shred all the finish off the strings, and then they go dead right there over the pickups, which I think that's kind of, if anything, isn't that where you want your strings the freshest, over top of the active pickup, Tom, for making electrical signal? I would think, because the strings sounding dead, they sound dead down here. It doesn't matter how they are up here, even though that's where we always look. Are my strings dead?
That's how it was on that Mockingbird I had. It had the Elixir Nano Webs or whatever, and by the time I traded it off, all around that picking surface area was all cracked, and it was starting to do the peel thing. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, I really don't like these strings, but...
Yeah, Keith brings up here a difference. Yeah, the Ernie Ball 5150 strings. I remember, they did do Eddie's set of the 9 through 40s, but then I think for a while they expanded, and there was basically like any other string company, they did 3 different sets, like 8s, 9s, and 10s, or 9s, 10s, and 11s, or something. Tom, am I wrong with that?
I'm not sure. I only know the ones that were a custom set that were the 9 to 40, but I mean, there could have been. I just don't know. There's
or maybe it was just a big enough display of them because they're trying to get rid of them.
There's EVH strings that possibly have that, but the 5150 original ones, I don't remember.
Maybe I might be mistaking the two. But play whatever tuning the song warrants. Personally, I like standard tuning the best because the guitar was designed to play in that tuning, so it's intonated for that. It's meant, So my dad, he hated playing even a half step down. Guitar's not meant to be doing that, Tom. It doesn't intonate the same. It's like, well, if you compensate with thicker strings, actually it does. But then, the way I see it, if a guitar was built to be played in E standard with 9s on it, that's the way it was designed on the bench, then chances are that's what I'm going to use. Whatever that guitar was designed to be used for, chances are.
Here's a random suggestion or tip to anyone out there. If you do want to try a pack of strings from a company, contact them. They might send you a free pack.
Yep. Unbelievable says 5150 strings did come in different string gauges, so I'm not insane. That's good to know. John Shane says 440 is the devil's work. You pick your poison. You either play in standard tuning because you're playing with a keyboard player, or you play off and keep it easier for chording if you're playing with horns, because horns are tuned to B flat. So pick your poison.
Hey, Jack.
What are you playing in? B flat. All right, well, that's all first fret stuff. Oh, well, I don't want to do that. What's up, Jack?
And BC Rich, actually, I did have a pair of Black Diamond strings once. I wasn't.
I don't remember if I ever tried them.
I had
a few different strings back in the 80s.
Dean Markley's blackjack guitar. Yeah, Dean Markley's. Oh my god.
There's a reason they offered a sticker and no one else did. Because it's like beer companies that offer a hat or a T-shirt. There's a reason they're giving you clothing with their beer, Terry. There's a reason, right? Because you're like, well, at least I got a hat with it.
Yeah, I still remember the local.
Good stuff doesn't have to give you extra shit.
The local music store was like, oh crap, I can't afford a set of Fender strings. What is there? Dean Markley. Okay. But yeah, it's just like Canadian beer. It's like buying a Labatt's or Canadian, and you can't afford that brand. What do you got to buy? Wildcat or some other low brand.
Well, I remember too, like, and everybody would buy a pack of Dean Markleys just to have that single decal to put on their guitar case.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody had a hard shell case. Nobody had a gig bag. When I first started playing, you either had nothing or a hard shell case. Like, very few people had gig bags. Those weren't a very common thing. No. You had those. What was it? They considered them, Tom, soft shell, which was essentially cardboard with Tolex over them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you always had to carry them with 3 fingers on the handle and your index finger curled around because you'd be walking along, so it'd just flop open. Guitar would be just, hey, Michael B.
Hey, Michael B. Now, I will say this, though, about the Dean Markleys. The electric strings were terrible. But the acoustics at that same price point or a little bit less were actually a really solid string.
I didn't like them. At that time, I used nothing but Martin strings or Martin Marquis strings, actually. Hey, Lawrence. LPD Pedals in the house.
Hey, Lawrence.
I used a lot of boomers because my dad used boomers back in the day. And then I stopped using boomers, and shockingly, I stopped breaking strings. That's why I switched to Didarios. That I got to them when I finally started using Ernie balls when I got back into playing. I never used Ernie balls back in the day because I don't think Ardens sold Ernie ball. I think they had like Fender strings, Dean Markley, and GHS. Those were the string brands. And then when I got back into playing, it was Ernie ball 11s because Richie played 11s. I tried it. I liked it. The sound.
You've had not having to restring your guitars.
And I did actually. I think Rich was restringing and setting up any guitars I had at that time because I wasn't doing it at the time because I was just getting back into playing. And then I didn't play any lead at all, so playing 11s was no big deal. Chords are chords for the most part. And then when I joined One Day to Live, we were playing drop C, so it made sense to stay with 11s. I have 11s on the Martin Mill. Pretty sure Ernie Ballsack 11s. Earthwound. Dirty
Scott,
Wound.
the time I broken D strings was not because of bends or stretching it. It was because of a manufacturer issue with that particular string, i.e., it usually broke within the first couple hours of putting it, the string on new.
Oh, Tom got a super chat.
Hey, Tom.
There you go, Tom. You can read her off.
Well, he just wanted to thank me for sending the stripper Mini Magnificence, who happens to be a little person. Her coochie seesaw was a special treat. He enjoyed it. Bless you all. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Hey, Nikki. Yeah, long time no see.
Hey, it's Nikki.
Go on, Nikki.
God, you should have seen her stream on Twitch Saturday night that went into Sunday morning. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Hey, Mark.
Just the comedy. So I guess what Boner James is saying is he's sorry he couldn't get you Tiny Taxi.
I never used Dean Markley Blue Steels. I'm just throwing that out there. Never tried them.
Steels.
Because I'm not into steel strings. I like nickel strings.
I tried them
once.
Whoa,
Sergeant Greenleaf?
They were in the discount bin. I wanted a cheap set of strings, so I tried them once. I don't really remember.
I'm not. Yeah, because standard Slinkies are, I'm pretty sure, or is it nickel-bound steel core? Like they're the hybrid, like not the NYXLs, but just regular D'Addario XLs are the same way. They're a nickel steel core.
Dale Boyle, that's very close to the Eddie Van Halen set, but his is 9, 12, 15, 22, 32, 40. So,
because Tom's enough of a nerd, he remembers the string gauge that he used. Nerd!
that one is a light A string as well, but his was always just a slightly lighter G string and a lighter low E string.
See you, Cushman. Hope you're
It's
feeling
very
better
similar.
soon, buddy.
Yeah, see you, Cushman.
Back pain is
Sergeant-
real.
Sergeant Greenleaf says, "Is there any advantage to an Evertune bridge over a Godo normal bridge?"
Yes.
That is, well, it depends on what the bridge is and what you're wanting to do.
I would say yes, but only personally in a studio setting, or you're someone who can't keep a damn guitar in tune. Like I don't know what you're doing when you're gripping those chords, Tom, but you cannot keep that thing in tune. You know, that especially in a recording situation, or, however, in a recording situation, no, you don't use it exclusively. You will not get depth. Pete Thorne was mentioning that yesterday. It's really cool to have like an Evertune bass guitar on one side and then a Les Paul, say, on the other. Or say a Telly, something that's notoriously not necessarily the best intonated, because then you'll get some natural chorusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Exactly identical, you won't hear a difference. It'll sound like one guitar.
And the other thing as well, too, is if you don't want to do bending, you can set up the Evertune for the not have any type of bendability on strings.
You can have it where it's set up
everything
where
stays.
it stays in tune, but if you bend a note, it'll allow you to bend it, and then it stays in tune.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I know, it still miffs me.
And one piece of advice I can only give so many times, which is all the time, when it comes to Evertune guitars, for the love of God, if you just buy a guitar with an Evertune in it. Do not ever install an Evertune on a guitar.
You have to basically rip the entire chest out of the guitar.
You might as well just cut it in half, and then you're just putting two wings onto it.
In that instance, you're better off to send it to Evertune themselves, and they will actually modify the guitar for you for a cost.
Even then, you're spending the cost on the guitar basically to have that done.
Right.
You know,
well, yes, you're right. Overall, you're just better off to buy a guitar with the system already installed.
If you're planning on installing an Evertune on that guitar, also plan on never selling that guitar for anything close to its value,
and never taking the Evertune.
Yes, that's
because
true.
unlike, I don't know, let's say you're putting one of those doozy trims on my Gretsch, Tom. Well, all I'm doing is taking off the tailpiece and sliding that on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want the doozy trim. Well, that's fine. I take it off. I put the other tailpiece. You're not taking off the Evertune and putting that wood back.
Yeah.
Be
very careful.
I would say yes in a sense, Billy, but no. It's not like putting a Floyd on a Les Paul. It's like putting 3 Floyds on a Les Paul because you have to do that much routing.
Yeah.
It's also, yeah.
It would be like adding a Floyd and a third pickup. You know what I mean? Like,
don't plan to rock out on stage with it either, because that's going to be heavy.
They say about on average it would take about 2 pounds out of a guitar, the whole routing for an Evertune.
Oh, so
it
it's like
takes 2 pounds out, but what does the actual hardware weigh is what I'm wondering.
Well, that's just that.
Yeah, because that's 2 pounds. That's damn near half a body.
In regards to the latter part of it, there's
Blackjack
Godo doesn't make anything that's really bad, like low quality. So I mean, in that regard, there's nothing wrong with buying Godo hardware.
I'm trying to think. Seems to me, see, that's the thing. Godo, I don't know if they pulled up their pants or what, but I remember there was a time that Godo wasn't considered the greatest for hardware.
Yeah, and I
don't know. Now, I don't know,
agree.
Tom. This could be overhearing conversations with my old man and his cronies. Now, this is the guy who's embarrassed because he had a CBS telly and not a pre-CBS telly. So, you know what I mean? You know, who wouldn't be, none of his friends would be caught dead with a Japanese-made guitar. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Godo
now,
does go back a long way.
Exactly. And granted, these conversations are taking place largely in the mid to later 80s, folks. You know, so let's have that going on, you know. So even, you know, the Fender Japan stuff was not even a decade old yet. So there's still like, just buy an old CBS error and you're good to go, whatever, you know. But I don't know. I never had a problem with Godo hardware. I'd say they're at least a good middle of the road. Now, granted, also, could it be that Godo was supplying OEM hardware to shitty guitars and were asked to make shitty quality at a price point? Much like
this.
I always have this conversation with Aaron, who's still in the chat because he's got the kids. Aaron is a huge fan of Cort guitars. Me, can't stand them. Not a fan. Now, you could hand me a guitar that Cort Ghost built for somebody else, and I go, "Oh wow, Tom, this is a hell of a guitar." Well, yeah, because they were asked to build a hell of a guitar.
Yeah.
Cort, as name on the headstock, has never built a hell of a guitar, in my opinion. Because Cort, as a brand, is a student line of guitars, largely.
Right.
So, it's like Samick. Samick is another large manufacturer. I've never played a Samick guitar that I'd pay more than $75 for. Because I always think a cheap, shitty Samick acoustic or a Samick electric that you buy at Walmart or something, like garbage guitars. Cort does sound like a Kmart guitar. It does. I agree, Guitar Man 45.
I think where Cort changed and became more relevant in actually producing better quality stuff under their own brand name was when they basically got the contracts to do the Epiphones, and also in turn also got the blueprints to actually use the Epiphone scale and modeling for all like the Les Pauls and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Nikki, thank you. Super thicker.
Hey,
cool,
awesome, Nikki.
Now I'm going to bring up the chat so I can see what the hell it is, because this is one of the few things I don't get to see in StreamYard.
It's a super sticker.
Rainbow Unicorn.
Rainbow Unicorn.
I love rainbow unicorns. Because if you're going to have a unicorn, you might as well have a rainbow unicorn.
You definitely want one that poops rainbows.
Then again, you got to be careful, because you don't always want to go full unicorn. And that's pretty much full unicorn.
Take care, Randy.
See you, Randy.
Oh, and by the way, Nikki, I hope your fingers are feeling better.
Bass isn't easy, Terry. I tried it a couple of times as a gig. And you know what? The first time I did it, I thought, I'm going to be a real bass player. I'm not going to play with a tech. Last one song, one flippant song, and my middle finger's going, screw you, dude, screw you. And the index is like, don't even start there. That was you and the middle finger's idea to start with. I am not down with that. They're like, we can work together. We can be Steve Harris. And I'm like, no, we can't. All right. So.
Well, I mentioned that because on her stream, she did 55 songs.
Wow. That's what I figured. Well, like I say, bass is, it's a lot of work.
Okay. She corrected me.
7 hours and 60 songs. Dang.
That's a lot.
That's amazing.
Wow. That's a lot of
playing. Billy Baloney loves playing bass.
I mean, playing songs too.
And Janice mentioned she likes her Cort Strat. Hey, I'm just saying, personally, it's me. We can list the companies whose products I just don't care for.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't get around. It's just personal choice.
Some of it is based off price point. Return on value.
Yeah, true.
It's like Gibson makes a decent guitar, but for 3,500 Canadian for a Les Paul Standard, I better not see a finish flaw.
Right.
Because I can buy 2 Strats or Tellys for that price. For the same price.
I was just going to say, I know the ultimate yay or nay now to do for you then, Ben.
What?
Your choice. If you had the choice to choose between the 2 brands of instruments to buy, what are you buying? Cort or Dana Electro?
Am I buying new?
Sure.
Okay. I'll buy the Cort. Because Dana Electro is overpriced. Corts are not. They're at least priced right. And Cort makes like a Les Paul knockoff.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So you're good there. Dana Electro makes weird Dana Electro stuff that costs $700, like almost as much as an Epiphone. And I'm sorry, Dana Electros are not built to Epiphone spec. They're not. And if you say they are, it has character. You know what character is? Lack of quality. That's what character is. You know what has character, Tom?
Character.
Going back to the top of the show.
Buy you a large coffee.
Offsets. Remember with the Maestro trim with that floating bridge that as you use the trim, the bridge would move forward or back.
Yeah.
What the hell's that thing?
Yeah. You know what that is? That's character.
Hey Jay, what's up, man?
Hey Jay.
Hey Jay.
That was the worst bridge.
It's like
ever.
we'll make BC Rich laugh now. It's like arts and crafts. He knows this one. Do you know why they call it arts and crafts, Tom? Like an arts and crafts show?
Yeah.
Nobody would show up if it said art and shitty art, because that's all crafts is.
You're so right, though.
So in other words, now if we throw another brand into the mix, we know then if it was between Dan Electra, Court, and First Act,
Art and shitty art.
Ben would probably buy First Act then.
Well, yeah, so just spending the least amount of money possible, but still, First Act is barely playable. At least the Court's playable, you know. Do I get to play the First Act first, Terry? Can I go to Walmart, go through the whole rack of 10 of them, find the one that's playable,
and go through all 30 of them they have in the back, and pick
and find the one that's playable.
Or I'm assuming it's a bolt-on, so they allow you to take them apart and put the best neck and body together.
Yeah, like Clapton did with Blackie, right? It's just an amalgamation of there was a palette of First Act Strats back there. I took the pickups out of this one. I liked the body on this one. I took the bridge off this one. I took the neck off that one.
The tuners are from number 37 over there.
Yeah. Why'd you choose that neck? Because it was the only one that had a decently cut nut.
It was the only one that was actually had an adjustable truss rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, I'm not talking about the actual first run that were actually high quality First Acts. I was talking about the...
Yeah, Epiphone does make a great guitar, Max. They're getting pricey. Holy shit, are they getting pricey?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I'm sure they're creeping up in the US too, but like all the signature Epiphones, for instance, are all well north of $1,000. They're actually over 1,200 Canadian, which is closing in $1,000 US for a signature Epiphone Les Paul. Fuck you.
Yeah.
For what? For what? A different burst? Aren't you just programming a computer to do a paint job anyways? So it paints a different color that day. So what are we paying for? Varathane for them to clean, paint thinner to clean out the nozzle? What? No. Because you're going to switch it from a gold top to a cherry burst to a black to... Come on. Have I checked out a sawtooth guitar yet? What the hell is a sawtooth guitar? Is that the shark guitar? So I played the shark guitar. Not the shark guitar. Easy, Tom. I know you're a Van Halen guy. I did not play the shark guitar. I played a shark. Actually, I played a
if I remember, I think Sawtooth is the independent guitar building guy. He actually builds wide neck versions of guitars. Am I wrong in that, Scott?
Okay, and there we go. Top plate Eppies are $850 to $9.25 US BC. I knew BC Rich would know around where they were.
Yeah.
Michelangelo Badio's company.
Yeah, I'm looking when Long Play was doing the weird deal where they were selling all the used gear, which is all the floor model stuff, which is I'm like, well, how's one thing new and one thing's used and they hung next to each other on a rack? Well, that one hung there longer. And I just remember I was looking for $10 less, I could buy the whitewash Gibson Les Paul Special, which there is a demo of that guitar on this channel because they never fucking sold it, Terry.
They still haven't sold it?
No, because I'm the only person that wants it. Hey, Mayhem. Or for $10 more, I could buy an Epiphone / or Joe Bonamassa signature Les Paul. And I was like, now granted, the Epiphones look 100 times better, and there's way more money in those finishes because the other one is literally flat white, which, Terry, I know you get a couple of haters watching your channel, but even you could do flat white. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the foolproof finish. It's trem-clad white, like primer paint. That's what those finishes are basically. So, and it's not like you paint it smooth. It's rough. Like, that's a rough guitar. You look at it, it's kind of, oh, is that a Road Warrior? No, that's Fender with their gimmicky name. So, you know, it's like for $12.50, that's you're into a Gibson guitar for $12.50 Canadian. I don't know if it's still there, but goddamn, if I had $12.50, I'd be buying it. I'll tell you that right now. Dale Boyle says, I recently picked up a B stock Fender Pro 2 Strat at Steve's Music. Not inexpensive though. I bet. If you got it for under $2,000, you scored a deal. Because I think they come now. I could be wrong, Terry. I think they come in around 2,300 Canadian for the Pro 2 series, 2,250.
Yeah,
23.
Yeah,
so if you can get it for under $2,000, that's 10% off. So that would be good.
Yeah.
You know, because also you're saving on that 13% sales tax. That's the nice thing. Yeah. That's why I don't care if I get as deep a discount anymore now as an adult. Back when we only had just provincial sales tax, that was one thing. When it went up, you're paying both taxes. You're like, okay, deal's a deal. Most time I go into a place, can I get tax free? If I can get stuff tax free, so that's 13% off. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm tickled, in fact. Doug Strong says, I was surprised when I was checking out acoustics. I've stayed away from Gibson because I haven't found any that have really spoken to me, but the acoustics were very different. Felt great. Yeah, I made a point of at each NAMM show playing a Gibson acoustic because there's something about them. They've got that mid-scoop sound, for lack of a better term, compared to my Martin.
Yeah.
If a Martin D28 Dreadnought is that flat,
right through the middle.
Yeah, I find the Gibson has a little more bass and it's a little more scoop sounding. The Hummingbird is essentially not their jumbo, but the Hummingbird is essentially, I think, their Dreadnought. I just find they're more scoopy sound, which I dig, and the two of them together is a wonderful thing.
Is that the J45 model or no?
J45 would be the jumbo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That's the one.
J200's the jumbo.
The J200. I should have known that because I used to own
J45's the Dread.
Okay, the J. So you're right.
Also known as the Hummingbird.
You're right.
Yeah.
Nikki asked if I'm going to NAMM. I am not. Hope to go next year. I'm not going this year. I'm sending people in my steed. We will have JJ and Aaron on the Sunday of NAMM weekend to recap NAMM for us.
Keith, if you move to Delaware, you'll be pretty close to me. Like, depending where you are in Delaware, probably less than an hour.
Yeah, no,
Delaware isn't
mentioning...
that big. Because Delaware isn't that big, as I recall.
Well, no, I mean, just depending because of the shape of it.
Yeah. Although it felt like California today.
Not that big across, but it goes. The
sun was like you kept saying we're supposed to get. I don't know, Tom. Last week it said, "Oh, it's going to rain all week. All week's going to rain." I'm like, "All right, fine." So I did stuff last week to avoid this week, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, it's fine," except for Monday, big ass storm. Weather Environment Canada is like big, like up to 3 inches of rain in a couple hours situation. Like, you know, instant flooding. Oh, fun, you know. And so I was like, okay. And then that kept holding off. And the weather kept easing back up like yesterday. Next thing you know, after dinner, it was 80.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
On the deck, it was 8 because sun and radiating. The thermometer's like, it's hot. I opened the door and the cat's like, I don't want to go outside. It's all cool out. It's springtime. I'm like, check it out, dude. And she's like, oh. And she started shedding immediately. Hello, Destroyer.
GTR 1952
Singles?
Says J45 is the slope shoulder, J50 is the natural J45.
Okay. And then Singles mentions J45 short scale too. I don't know that.
Yeah.
Delaware or Mooresville, Kannapolis area? Oh, Mooresville, Kannapolis area. I got friends in Kannapolis. Well, it depends. Mooresville is more bustling. Kannapolis, there's not a lot in Kannapolis. All right. So your action is driving from Kannapolis, Tom, it's small. Okay, it's small. It's an old textile town that's on the small side. You could drive 10, 15 minutes down the road to Concord, which is a bunch of big box stores and nothing else, because it's a manufacturing community in and around Concord, the Speedway, which is Charlotte. Or you can drive another, what used to be 15 minutes and now 40 minutes to drive into Charlotte proper. That's the nice part. Yeah, actually, you're about 45 minutes outside of Charlotte with traffic. On a good day, you could be there in 20 minutes. Yeah, Mooresville's another, 15, 20 minutes north of there. Easy. Because there's an interstate now and there's paved roads. And there used to be a lot of, paved roads are nice. That's all in the last 20 years. Kannapolis is nice. You got Lake Norman's right out in that way. Actually, I bet your real estate's not that expensive in Kannapolis compared to Mooresville, too. Real estate is more expensive in Mooresville. How do I know this, Tom? North Carolina real estate.
I know, right?
Although I do have friends in Kannapolis, or a friend, buddy TJ. He lives there. Marshall lives in and around that area. I'm surprised Doug hasn't piped up, Terry. We start mentioning Mooresville. All of a sudden he's like, what? Debating the numbers. Anyone remember Greco guitars? Hell yeah, we know Greco guitars.
They made a lot of.
I remember Greco guitars because I used to have one.
Yeah, they made They started in the 60s at least, maybe in the 50s.
I think at the end of the 50s was when Greco started,
and then I want to say into the 80s.
Yeah. And then
like a lot of those, like Raven, they kind of petered out by the 80s and then just became, making literally just stuff like the first acts of today. Yes, Max, we're talking about North Carolina.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I had an LP and then I got rid of it. And then 2 months later, Ike, who's going to be on the show Sunday, I think you said.
Yep.
He actually got
coming on Sunday, folks. Flipside Music.
He actually got a Tele Deluxe version done by Greco, and that was a nice looking instrument.
Yeah, similar to an Ibanez, not quite the build quality, but nice.
Yeah. They definitely had their.
Oh, good, Tom. Tom's going to head out, folks. So we're going to wrap up in a few minutes or so. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
Thanks for having me. Brother.
Nice to see you again.
Love you too.
We shall talk soon.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. All right. Later.
Tarman 45 says he had a white Crestwood. Crestwood. My God, I don't think I've heard that name in 25 years, Terry.
Wow.
And not that I ever saw one. My dad would, like names that my dad would, like a Greco, or like the way we would say, to people say half our age.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You're dating yourself, Guitar Man 45, having owned one of them. I'm not saying, but I'm saying, Terry. So we got 71 people watching. If you haven't already, please leave a thumbs up. Really appreciate it.
Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't.
Mm-hmm. We'll go a few more minutes. Any last minute guitar questions? Because I know we're going an hour and a half, and out of that, an hour and 10 minutes of that is non-guitar related. And then 10 minutes was somewhat guitar related, and 10 minutes was guitar related.
Actually, I thought Cortez was what Ibanez used to be called.
No.
If not, then yeah, that's interesting to me.
But I'm not sure on that either, but I know Court and Ibanez were not ever the same.
Well, no, not the same company, but I just mean that Ibanez actually had a different name before.
Oh, there we go. Hey, we can go 10 more minutes now. Terry, I stretched my hip out. Oh, yeah. Oh, son of a bee sting. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, that hurts to sit back down. There you go, Sergeant Green. This will be my Ernie Ball Music Man Access Super Sport, which I recently work on this? I know I did the Wolfgang recently. I thought this was on the bench not too long ago, too.
Yeah, a couple weeks back. I think.
Yeah, like just a setup, but not necessarily a restring, I want to say, or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Thought so. Yeah. Boom.
Ryan Hall says, anyone ever a Les Paul copy with a butterfly in the headstock?
Oh, that sounds so familiar. Yes. Yes.
It sounds familiar, but it makes me keep thinking of Bad Cat.
I know. But yes.
Was it maybe Monarch?
Maybe. How much difference between the Axis and the older EVHs? I don't know exactly as far as neck profile goes, but it is an asymmetrical neck, so I want to say it's going to be the same, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've understood. Switching is different. This is a 5-way switch. Could have been Mark. Could have adjusted the neck on this. I don't know, though.
Or was it?
Still has the DiMarzio pickups, as far as I know. I haven't actually removed them to look at them, and I bought this from, I believe, the original owner, so I don't think he messed with it. It is a USA built, so.
Ryan Hall says, was natural wood very nice? Yes, I do believe a lot of them were natural wood, I believe. Those LP styles.
It may be chunkier on the hips. I don't know. So, like, I know there's far more experts of this shape and stuff. Like, I don't know. Did they have that kind of a carve in the back originally? I don't know.
I don't think they ever did. I think they were like a telly in the way of like totally straight shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know. Masterbuilt, that I could not tell you. All I know is it is a US made. As it says, made in San Luis Obispo, California, USA. There is a video on it because I have no idea, Terry, off the top of my head, how old it is. Mm-hmm. I want to say 2011, 2012. No. Is it? No. Could it? Possibly. But there is a video on the channel on it. And I'm pretty sure I looked up the serial number at that time and mentioned the video. But that was a couple of years ago. We got the Wolfgang too. Should we show off the Wolfgang too? For the
mine as well.
Mazel.
Sergeant Greenleaf says he has the limited edition Ernie Ball baritone. It's so sick for metal.
Oh, nice. I bet it is. I will say Ernie Ball does make a really lot of good metal guitars for a variety of metal type situations. So this one, I know I did a video on this last week. Yep. This will be the Wolfgang Special, made in Japan. 2011, 2012.
Dale Boyle music.
See you, Dale. See you, Janice.
And Michael
the originals never had the belly cut. Good to know. There we are, Keith. See, I knew Keith would know. So there we go. This is EVH, yeah.
Michael Krause says Matsumoko made an LP with a butterfly inlay.
You know, okay.
Maybe
that could be it.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. And I got this the same time I got the other one. Same guy.
Right, Janice.
Package deal.
Dana, New Jersey. Fodera guitar. Butterfly headstock.
Yes. That rings a bell.
That's what I was saying. Like, that's one of those things that, you know, has been used a lot on guitar headstocks over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you don't see too many people called.
Somebody had asked when it premiered. I can't remember what they called these, but Gibson used these for a while too.
Late 70s.
Yeah.
They used them on the LPs and it was part of their deluxe package. So yeah. I think it was like LPs, the L6s.
Right.
I think also had them.
Yes, it does stay in tune. Great, Max. Which the strings are stretched, obviously. But yeah. And you got to have the fine tuners because even though it's a hardtail, it does have that locking nut. And I mentioned in the video, last week, Terry. Why would a hardtail have a locking nut? Cost.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper to just use the same neck on everything, right?
Yeah.
And all the finishes come off the 2 screw heads up here, but not off these 2, which is weird because these look like they're stepped in. But whatevs. It was like that when I got it.
TP6 tailpiece on LP Customs. Also, there was some 335s as well, too.
TP6. Okay. Carvin used them as well. Shaler made them. Okay. Shaler. I don't know. Shaler. Harmonica bridge. Not quite. Is it? No, it's not. The harmonica bridge is different. That's that big fucking.
Yeah, it's the big thing.
This is just your harmonica. Basically like whatever your Epiphone. I say Epiphone because it's got the slots.
Yeah.
The Gibson style, I'd say it would use, But yeah, it's basically your Godo whatever tailpiece, Probably, I would assume it's a Godo bridge because they use Godo hardware a lot. So I don't know. That's that one.
So I guess maybe we'll wrap it up on this last thing. Gear Junkie 35 says, as this is a Canadian-based show, I have an acoustic made by a company called Lark, L-A-R-K. Most research I could find shows it was Korean made and made exclusively for Canadian retail. Any thoughts?
Cheap. It was a department store guitar. Similar to your brands. I can't remember the build level because you got to be careful there.
Yeah.
Because there's, let's say, I don't know, first act being the crappiest, we'll say. And then you have your Samics. A Samic would be a Sears guitar at certain times of its.
Oh yeah, Samic was always in Sears catalog.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, yeah, pan guitar. Similar to the Japanese, but and again, is it going to be? If it survived to this point, it's hard to say. It could be all the telltale. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it was one of those you would see one in a dusty. Oh, Dylan, you work in retail. What do you call those cases which were just basically cardboard with Tolex? Maybe felt around the inside.
Shoebox case, I think they call it.
Pretty much. That was the consistency. It was like a little bit thicker paper than a shoebox. But it was I think they called them soft shell cases. And like you said, you always had to carry them with your finger. Do I have I don't think it's in here. I have a couple of those cases still. You always had to carry one finger over it so it wouldn't flop open.
Chipboard, yes.
Nope. No, because chipboard would be a hard shell, I think. Hey, Cecil.
They did have smaller chipboard.
Yeah. I want to say soft shell is what we knew them as.
Comes in its own soft shell crab.
Because I was thinking you had the option of a hard shell case or a soft shell case.
Yeah.
Which was not a gig bag. Because I don't think gig bags existed. I honestly don't think gig bags were a thing.
But that's honestly the biggest issue with a lot of stuff that was made for Canada. Some of it had super high quality and was sold at a cheap price. And then there's other stuff.
Well, I wouldn't say super high quality. I'd say decent quality.
Yeah.
As opposed to it's going to fall apart or it's unplayable.
Yeah. Which the majority of the stuff came over that was like that.
Like the complete plywood guitars where you can still see the ply and end grain on the end of the guitar. You're like, oh, that's plywood. Because they didn't bother. Or they'd seal it. All you had to do is pull out the pick. Or, if it was a Strat clone, you pulled it and you just see those plies. I've heard them called soft shell cases. The newer gig bag shell cases are the replacement for those, I think. Yeah. And, I'd rather carry it around that. At least it's like you're carrying... Basically, Terry, a gig bag to me is, not... Okay, there's the ones that are literally just a raincoat. That are literally just... It's a tent. You're carrying your... in a tent. And then you have your ones that are a little bit of padding. And that's kind of like you're carrying a guitar around in a winter coat. You know, you stuck sleeve over the neck and then you zipped it up around the body. You know, and that's a gig bag to me. A decent gig bag or an okay gig bag. Soft shell cases, I swear they did more damage to the guitars just because they bounced around inside because none of them were really form-fitting.
Yeah.
Except for the one I sold to Mayhem for that Explorer-shaped. What the hell was that, a Kent?
Yes.
It had a form-fitting soft shell case, so it was obvious walking down the street what kind of guitar you had. Like, it's like, that guy's playing an Explorer. It wasn't corrugated cardboard. It was basically like shoebox cardboard. That's a good analogy, Terry. As soon as you mentioned shoebox, I'm like, yes. Just a little bit thicker stock.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Gear Junkie 35 is saying. We call it chipboard, but it's more like thick cardboard.
Okay.
Pretty flexible unless, you know.
Yeah. And then you had your degrees. Like some of them literally just had a black felt. Some of them would go as far as putting damn near the same as amp Tolex on them. Like a hardtail case. You know, so you're like, easy, Terry, that's a load-bearing Tolex. You're like, really? Like, yeah, really? And then the step up from that would be a hard shell case, and then the step up from that would be a flight case.
Mm-hmm.
And the flight cases, they were just coming in with the molded plastic flight cases when I started playing. Prior to that, it looked like a road case like you would see for an amp head or a keyboard. You know, a keyboard flight case, for instance, looked the same as a guitar flight case with that aluminum stripping, black centered, like that case right down there behind the guitar rack. But that standard flight case look.
I like Cecil Music's comment here. Jeff Kiesel says they only do gig bags because it protects their guitars better. I don't buy that. If he was being honest, he would just say gig bags are cheaper.
Let's wrap up with a fuck Jeff Kiesel moment. Here's my fuck Jeff Kiesel moment of the week. Yep. No, because you're fucking cheap. All right, Jeff. Will you fly with a guitar and check it in one of your cases? You know, no carry on. No buying an extra ticket. Joe Bonamassa style. I'm saying, you know, I have not having seen their bags. Like, does it stand up to a flight case? Because even a hard case, Terry, I'll fly with a hard shell case at least. You know, the guitar's going to get banged around, but at least I can, you know, wrap some T-shirts around. Like, it's even a standard Fender case. I'll take enough precaution, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and believe me, I've broken hard shell cases. Like, they're not that, you know, they're okay as long as you take care of it. But you can't step on a hard shell case, for instance, Terry. Do not step on it. I believe me, I stepped on a hard shell case. You do not. That's $100 out of your pocket instantly. Oh, I still use it. It's my Strat case. But I didn't go through, but it did. Oh, now that's a soft shell case in that corner. Guess what I don't do, Terry? I don't stack gear on top of the case. All a hard shell case good for is you load all the amplifiers and cabs in, you slide the guitars on top, and it just keeps them from banging into each other. Yep. And if it slides in, shatters a window, and goes out the window, you hope it survives. You can't do that with one of Kiesel's gig bags. Fuck you, gig bags. I'm going to build you a custom guitar and then ship it in a fucking winter coat. Then again, Tim Thomas says Kiesel soft cases are the best. Are they? Are they like mono cases?
So I was just going to say a mono case. Mono definitely put their time and effort in when they design their cases. And you can't say that they don't.
Michael Kerr says, don't have Jeff Kiesel. That will make more Jeff Kiesels.
So really? Michael Kerr is saying you don't pour water on Jeff Kiesel because he'll multiply?
Wait, what? PRS doesn't do hard shell cases either? What the fuck? What in the actual fuck? Fuckity fuck. No. All right, PRS. You give the gig bags for the, what do they call them, the CEs? Were they? The offshores?
Yeah, the SEs.
SEs. Thank you.
SEs are all soft bag.
Yeah, and then you should have hard shell cases for the US stuff.
The mid to high range SEs come with a soft bag. I believe the lowest ones come boxed.
Dylan's laughing because even as a retailer, he knows how I feel. Like, God damn! Like, if you spend more than $1,000 on a guitar, it should come with a hard shell case. It's worth $1,000 for for Christ's sake. Put it this way, Terry. I don't know with inflation or this and that, but let's say if you pay more than 2 weeks salary for a guitar, it better come with a hard shell case.
Yeah.
Like if you're dropping an entire paycheck, and that's even, I don't know, let's say minimum wage 2 weeks full time, even, like that's a good chunk of change. You're buying a new Epiphone at least.
Everything that I know of from the one individual who's gone through 3 or 4 Paul Reed Smiths, even on the used market, they all come with a hard shell case. And as far as I know, everything Paul Reed Smith over, I think, a $1,500 price point comes with a hard shell case. And
guess what happened? The one time, like the one guitar, I haven't bought many new guitars, but basically the only time I bought a new guitar for myself. Oh, well, here. First of all, here, Terry. It costs too much. Really? Now, granted, this is a few years ago. Okay. I bought a Fender. Was it the CD60? Which is basically the cheapest acoustic guitar.
Yep.
Guess what it came with? A hard shell case.
Yep. I had that one. And
okay. Came with a hard shell case. Yet, you could go in and spend $1,500 on a Strat, and they don't give you a case.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Fender? What in the actual fuck? Okay. So, the last time I bought a guitar for myself, I bought the Mexican Telly. Guess what it didn't come with, Terry?
A gig bag, even, probably.
That's right. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. Now, this guitar retailed for $829 plus tax. You know as well as I do, without doing math, we know it's going to be at least north of $900 out the door with tax. Normally. I got a deal. That's a different story I've told before. $900 for a guitar, and it doesn't even come with a gig bag, and you're on your own. No. You know what they do? They expect you to go, Terry, I just bought this guitar. It's too nice.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm going to buy a case because I want my baby to go home in style. So it's on me. Now, granted, I got a deal on a case because I got it at cost. But still there to this day. And these are American prices. $220 acoustic, hard case. $1,200 Strats and Tellys, no case.
Yep.
Oh, Fender, you grind my gears. Oh.
Dylan was also saying a $9,000+ Paul Reed Smith came in the other day to Flipside with only a gig bag. It's like, wow, what the hell?
This is what I'm saying, Terry. This is what I'm saying. And the guy was probably given the gig bag because the owner felt bad selling to him originally. I want to say it's an 86. Scott says it's an 87. I think it's an 86. Originally, I thought it was an 85, but now I think it's an 86. And it's got all the FU tone parts. Still need to get a control cover for it. Sent it off to get autographed. Never got it back. So, if anyone knows where a fella can get a control cover, let me know.
Now, Doug Strong says here, just confirmed I get to go pick up a new Gibson Generation Series as part of the L&M Gibson month. Now, is that you won one, or?
No, it's in stock for him to actually try it. Yeah. Did you know, L&M, Terry, it's Gibson month, but we don't have any Gibsons.
It's Gibson month, but guess what?
Or
we got all kinds of Epiphones.
or you can go to the Belleville along the way, and they still have the same Gibsons they had 3 years ago. That's kind of a know your market, Terry, because you get a lot of looky-loos in this area. But you know what moves in this area? Affordable shit. Epiphones. Yeah. Fenders and Squires, but import Fenders, you know. It feels weird when I say, Terry, it feels weird when I say import Fenders, because really for us, all Fenders are import Fenders.
Yep.
You just pay less the further they're all imports, Terry, and you pay less the further away it comes from.
Yep.
The closer it is to you where it's being made, you pay the most. And guess what? You go a little further away, we'll charge a little less. We'll make them from real far away, Korea, we'll charge less. We'll go even further away, China, even less. Again, what in the actual fuck you do fuck?
Kind of reminds me of the whole being patriotic and,
yes.
you know.
See, so that does have... Okay, it started out as an original German Floyd, but it's now been upgraded with a bunch of FU tone parts. But I still kept all the old parts. Gibson Les Month. Exactly, Keith. Yeah, and they're all imports. They're all... Hey, Terry, what do you think of PRS? That's not bad for an import line.
That's true. Where's Paul Reed Smith made? Oh, yeah. It's made in America. Oh, so it's an import.
Oh, it's one of them foreign brands then.
Yeah.
What about Gibson? Again, not bad for a foreign brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like I said, how everybody goes on about being patriotic and only buying stuff that's in their country. And if that's the case, we could look at everything.
I'm okay
and
with
say
that.
Like, yeah. It's made in America. Why would I buy made in America? It's not made in Canada.
Well, I get it. Like, you know, like I prefer to buy Canadian if I can on stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I always call it goes back to the punk rock roots, you know, just that simple phrase, support the local scene. You know, where that scene grows exponentially. So it's like if I can't buy Canadian, I try to buy American or Mexican. It's all the same to me. That's all North American free trade in theory, but it's not. But
it's actually funny thinking about it now because now I have a Trainer guitar amp and a Yorkville bass amp.
Well, yeah, you're more patriotic. There you go. Whereas where do you stand, Terry, when you want to be patriotic, yet they're the evil empire?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm kind of limited here, Terry, is what I'm saying. I'm rather limited. Yeah. So, more expensive to buy local. It is. In more ways than one, quite often. But that's okay. Yeah, you're paying the local, support the scene premium, I guess. I don't know. And I say it all in jest, folks. So if you're getting your britches in a stir, I get it. It's all in fun. But it's a different perspective. That's why we're Canucks with guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Cecil has an old 70s Trainer studio, mate.
Nice.
Or you can buy local and get ripped off. That's always an option.
Don't you know that's Kijiji's motto? Buy local. You get ripped off.
Yeah.
Especially, it reminds me of that one guy that's around my area for Kijiji.
Oh, you mean like when if I sell a pedal before I sell it, and, you know, take photos, I wipe it off with, you know, lighter fluid. I give it the cleaning, degreasing. So that's basically, you know, Kijiji rebuild on the pedal. I've gone over the entire circuit board at that point.
You need to charge another $20 for that refurbing of it.
Oh, no, the full refurb. Well, that's when I replaced the 9-volt in it.
Like I said, there's a guy in this area, like in my area of Kijiji. He keeps posting up the Gibson 50s prototype SG with the P90s in it. And he keeps on saying, well, actually now he's changed the ad to say, new old stock Gibson. Get it now. You know, rare model, not produced, blah, blah, blah. And he's still trying to get the full retail price and then some. He's trying to get like $1,400 for it still. It's like, no, Terry, it's worth probably about $8.
There's a guy that keeps flogging on the local Kijiji, like an Epiphone Les Paul special custom paint job, and by custom I mean like in the vein and quality, with all due respect to Jimmy Page's Dragon Telly, which is, I guess that's a dragon, like, okay, I guess that's artistic, but he's asking like $1,000 for it. Like it's a work of art, which it's not. That would be like me painting a flame job on a guitar. It doesn't increase the value of it. A few people, oh, that's cool. It's got flames on it, but guess what? For every person that thinks it's cool, there's 99 like, no. Why? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the key, Ron, is you go through all your 9 volts and you find the one that's basically dead, but not quite, Terry. So it works long enough for him. It's like the car that works just long enough to drive off the lot. It's got enough juice for him to play with it for an hour, maybe. So. Billy Baloney says the delay I bought from Ben smelled like a skunk.
Billy.
Unless it's EVH related. Well, that's see, now that it's weird. The opposite happens, right? But then you have to do it right, Keith. Like, let's be honest. If someone does a half-assed job of striping it, you're looking at it as just a bare body that you're going to sand down and restart with. Thank you, Scott. I keep meaning to, but if we can find a guy, it's all about having a guy. Didn't we talk about that on last night's show, Tom? As guys, we want to have guys. Like, you'd like to know an electrician. You'd like to know a plumber. You'd like to know an auto mechanic. You'd like to know someone that's good with computers.
Sounds like LRM Guitars is one of those Kijiji guys, though, when he just put my Epiphone Les Paul
then you
on
just get the
Kijiji with
lowballer.
an OEM Gibson case people wanted to give 200.
Right. Whereas in today's market, with that case, Terry, legit, like no problem. Because the guitar new, let's say Epi Les Paul, let's say it's a standard. I think those are going, let's say 800. Plus tax, you're looking at 9. Yeah. Fine. Sup, Pops?
We're talking about the banishment of ketchup forever.
No, we're not. Don't do that. Don't give the man a heart attack. But so with a case, because the case is going to be, a decent shaped hard shell case, Gibson OEM or not, the Gibson OEM gives a slight premium, but only slight because they are made in Canada. But that still 700 with the case used. Yeah. In today's market, so. Like I'd lowball them at 5, and I'd feel like I'm lowballing them at 5. So Doug Strong says 800 with a 175 case, so 200 tracks. Yeah, exactly. See you, Dylan.
Yeah, see you.
Have a good one, buddy.
We should be going.
Remember, I do put the F in frequently. I do. It's not necessarily what I like how Ike finally stood up for it. He goes, well, it is frequently asked questions.
Okay, LRM said he was asking 500. That's reasonable compared to some of the other ads.
I would have listed it for 6, and then you take 5, Terry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'll list at a bit of a deal, but not too much. Like I make sure there's wiggle room there because I don't like to pay asking no matter what. Although I will. Like if I see you have a fair deal, like he says, if he's got it for especially 500, I say, hey, can I give you 4? And you'd say no. I'd say, all right, 450? No. I say, well, guys got to try. Or all I'll even do is hey, 450, and I'll come pick it up, as opposed to more we'll meet up or something.
I'm just laughing. He said someone wanted to trade for a banjo. Which, banjos can be...
You can tell we're not in the same area. Because if I see a deal, I'll say, will you want to trade for a bunch of pedals? That's oh, dude. Are you open to trades? What do you want? A whole bunch of cheap
Later,
pedals?
Sergeant.
Like, I'll give you 10 cheap pedals for it, type thing. Hey, Sergeant. See ya. Have a good one, man. We should wrap up. Wow, we've gone 2 hours.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have another bowl, so I guess we're going a few more minutes.
But yeah, on average, I usually do $100 wiggle room on a larger item.
Well, yeah. Depending on the product, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the product, that's true. 20 pedals, yeah. Alberta tax. I think they have federal tax. I don't know. Yeah, federal tax. I don't think they have a provincial tax. God, no. They couldn't. There would be revolt in the streets of Alberta if they tried to institute a provincial tax.
Alberta is 7%.
See you, Nikki. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.
Nikki.
Appreciate it. Let's see if I can get that guitar used for a price that I know I can get out of it, same price all day long. Yeah, exactly. Like, God knows we'll never overprice. And folks, like, we're all friends here. If you come across something, that's where you phone a friend, or just look it up on Reverb, see what they're going for.
Yeah.
If the asking prices are all about the same, then they're probably asking fair value, or they might be asking a bit much because, the ask prices aren't always the selling prices, of course.
Yeah, I gotta admit, using the Reverb as a reference can be a good and bad thing. Bad thing as a seller because you can be like, it's $800 on Reverb. Person,
well,
if they don't value it.
Always look, and they don't do it as much. I used to always be. They always include the shipping price too.
Yep.
And I would notice Terry here's got a pedal listed for $125 and $25 shipping. I got the same pedal listed for $100 and $50 shipping. That's $150 pedal shipped. That's the difference. One guy just makes it look cheaper. Hey, I'm selling it for $100. No, he's just tacking it on the back end.
Yeah.
Shipping pedals isn't too bad. Plus, I just stop at the local Shoppers Drug Mart, and there's the post office in the back there, and they kind of know me. They're like, oh, yeah, it's that guy.
And it's kind of the same thing with computer components. The only major ones that are a pain in the ass to try to ship is like a computer monitor or a computer tower. Everything else is relatively small.
Yeah. See you, Billy. I'm not shipping the Red Kramer iRock. Ship it. I drove that sucker all the way back from Indiana.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that was what, like 900-kilometer trip or something? I don't know how far that was.
Exactly, Campbell, Keith. That's what I say even when it comes to the computer stuff. I tell people, look around, look at prices. Compare prices, come at an average, see who offers you the best deal, and take the best deal.
We got a PayPal came in, and I totally missed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know that person. Thank you, David. You know who you are if you're still watching. It's a couple of bucks. Appreciate it. So, should have dropped it off. Yeah, Fort Wayne. That was like, I don't know. That took me like 10 hours to drive.
Gear Junkie. Gear Junkie 35.
All right.
You're welcome, Gear Junkie.
Oh, there we go. What did you guys think of Chaplin's new lineup reveal video? Mike David's asked. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I think I seen it in my subscriber feed, but again, without going into details, I've heard people's comments about Chapman's and experiences, and well, not a fan.
I played a Chapman a number of years ago because let's see what they'll about, and they had one up at Cosmo, Terry, and okay, at that time, this would be what, 2018. At that time, they're still Korean made. That was the deal. Blah blah blah. And it was priced at around $650 Canadian. Okay. which at that time, that was the price of some Korean Ibanez's. You could still get at that price, whatever. And I picked it up, Terry, and I played it, and guess what? Felt like every other $600 Korean built guitar I played. I went, like bang for the buck. I'm like, it makes sense, that's the price point, blah blah blah. And then again, I have friends that were literally screwed over by the man, so I don't care for him or his products. Aaron, on the other hand, goes on and on. He loves his chat and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
That's what Basement Guitar Superstar was just saying.
And let's grant it. I do love Aaron and trust his opinion on anything gear related, and I'm sure it's a perfectly fine guitar, Terry. But guess what? I ain't fucking playing it.
Yeah.
If you go, hey, Terry, I'm over at your place. You're like, hey, guess what? On the Kijiji, work to trade. I'm like, well, imagine that, Terry. You working a trade on the Kijiji. And you're like, I just got this Chapman in. Check it out. I'm like, oh, I'm good. No, come on, check it out. I like your opinion. No, I'm good. It's like, no. So,
Scott,
I've never played a solar guitar.
Solar, no, but I definitely would play anything that Ola offers. And
see, I would look at it and go, probably it's a metal guitar. I just walk on by. It's the same reason I don't play Legator or Legator or the Headless guitar. Like, I just walk by, or ESPs. I have no desire to play an ESP, Terry, unless they reissue the Ronnie Wood signature guitar or, something like that. Then I'm interested. Which is basically a Tele I rock. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's the thing. So, on that note, we should probably wrap things up as well. We've gone like double time tonight. It's like that hockey game. We went just into the 7th period. You know what I mean? God. Where they do that intermission. All the guys are either puking or eating pizza in the dressing room, and that's we've just played 2 complete games tonight. And you're like, yeah, we know the players are all puking. The guy who smokes hasn't been seen in half an hour. He's dead. He's just there with the
that playoff game, and it was I can't remember. It was Washington and another team, and 7 overtimes before they finished the game.
Or like say IROC, like NASCAR, like Saturday's race, Terry. Would you believe it was a triple overtime finish?
What?
Because they have to finish. They can wave the caution on the last lap, but they got to at least take the white flag to make it. And they just kept wrecking on the restarts. They couldn't do 2 laps. So that's how that happened. So on that note, he's Terry. Check out his channel. Look up that screen name. Can I actually? Yeah, right.
Yep.
Ooh. Bing, bing. I'm not touching your name. I'm not touching your name. I'm not touching your name. I'm not anyways. Again, if you're new, please subscribe to me. Check out Terry's channel. He's putting out stuff. Content, if you will. I believe that's the terminology used. We're content creators. And you guys are content consumers. I will see Mark Taft in 13 hours and 52 minutes. Noon, Mark. I'll be there on time. He always runs 2 to 3 minutes late, Terry. It's our running joke. So I'm always on my way. Okay. It's always 2 to 3 minutes every time. But the funny part is, if I show up early, he'll come out early, but it's only 2 to 3 minutes after I show up. Like if I show up 10 minutes early, he's going to come out 7 minutes early. If I show up 10 minutes late, he still comes out 2 minutes later. It's just the way it goes. So I'll see Mark tomorrow. NAS Canucks with the proper vernacular. I love that. Capital N, capital C. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Talking Talladega, Arca, Xfinity, and Cup. Was there any other racing I was supposed to watch? Nope. Good. Sweet. Although, Terry, found out I have CBS Sports Network. They have all kinds of racing. Like Ferrari Challenge series, like all kinds of GT racing stuff I used to watch back in the day. I'm like, ooh, sweet. Yes, record all that stuff. So they can just randomly watch. We won't be talking about that stuff on the podcast, but stuff for me to watch. I love that stuff. Nice. And, I check out the up-and-comers. Ricky Bobby will not be discussed. That was a documentary, Just saying. On that note, he's Terry. I'm Ben. Thanks everybody that contributed tonight. Big help to the channel. Really appreciate it. Believe me, really appreciate it. Revenue's been halved in the last couple months. But anyways, watch those ads if nothing else. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll talk about the Boulevard. Yep. So, anyways, that's Terry. I'm Ben. Hold those doors open. Let Doug's wife in ahead of you in traffic because she's real. Be good to each other. Happy tone chasing, and of course, don't litter. Just don't. It's not cool to litter. It's not. Dragging this out in case that's what I was looking for. Now I can end things. #Dale at the end.